Hello, welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are taking part in the 5 Builders, 1 City collaboration. And this is the switcheroo for round 2. And in the previous episode, I worked to build an ore industry, and I placed this cargo train terminal. And in the middle of that episode, I was a little dubious as to how this was going to function. And after turning despawning off, I think we see how it's functioning. It's not. So I made a big mistake, and I think I know a solution, but it's going to take some destruction. So we're going to do that right away. But before I get into all that, I want to tell you the main focus of today's episode is going to be transportation. I built roads, I built a harbor, I built this cargo train terminal, but I haven't built transit. And I haven't built active transportation infrastructure. So we're going to do those things today and focus on that. So first, let's get our cargo train terminal working correctly. So I think this is just a bad junction place. I knew that when I placed it. It was even more apparent after after the episode was done. I felt bad about it. So I think the solution is to, rather than have these trains merge immediately, have this line a little ways back merge off, and we'll curve it back around to meet up with the other rail line that's heading out of town in this direction. So the unfortunate thing is this is going to take a lot of space up, but I think that's just kind of the price of the cost of doing business. So we'll see how this functions. I think this will do better. Unfortunately, we're going to have to clear some things out to make it work. I do want to get this a little bit closer to try to minimize the impact on the land if at all possible. And now I'm going to respect the topography. Okay, so we're a little better now with these, but we still have a significant backup. So I'm going to clear some of this and see if maybe that can resolve some of this issue. Clearly at this point it's so backed up that it's not going to resolve itself without some intervention. So I'll speed this up for a second and watch these trains pass. Oh, we did it again. Bummer. Well, we'll just keep clearing until we get to a good place. Because I do think that once this clears, we're going to be in the clear. Pun completely intended. But we need to get this thing cleared out first. Oh, whoops. We'll get rid of that. That's going to cause problems. So I think things are looking a little bit better. There's still some delay here. I don't love that, but we were stacked up clear into downtown. We've got issues over here too. This is looking like Chicago. It's this is where if you had a package that for some reason was shipped by train, it goes to die. It'll sit there for a week. So all of that backup meets over here and causes issues, and we're still dealing with them. Let's keep clearing. We'll see if any of this resolves itself. So the other thing that could be beneficial would be to take this line and connect it up after. I'm just nervous that this segment won't be long enough and will create issues. That said, let's give it a go. I really dislike what it's doing here. I just want a nice straight connection. It's not going to give me that, so I'll have to do it myself. Let's disband this connection. Okay, so that looks like it's clearing some stuff up. This is a really short length between that transition. This could be a problem in the future. But for the time being, it looks like it's working. Oh, it's not. Wait, let's see. No, it is. Problem is we still have some stuck vehicles. And at this point, it's not even... It's in the downtown area. It's backing up this far. So this just might take some time to work itself out. Kind of curious, are things moving anywhere? Ah, it's this junction too. It's really a close junction. Bet you if I get rid of this one, things are going to move. So I think that the real issue here is that we are utilizing the same rail lines for cargo that we are for passenger traffic. So when you do that, you almost have to play with despawning on because you end up with these jams that are just unresolvable. So I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to turn despawning back on and let the train network resolve itself. And if another one of the builders wants to tackle that, I will let them because I don't. I want to keep doing other things. One of those things is continuing my love affair with this surface painting tool. And since I screwed this up, might as well fix it. Oh, so much better. I feel this gratification when I use this tool. The only thing that would make it better would be, so before I got my new machine, I had a square tool. And so you can go in and actually drop in your own tools into the brush. There's a brush folder. And that can make it easier to make a straight line. Truthfully, I wish that I could just drop a polygon or something like that to actually make that happen, but I can't. So I've figured out the issue in this roundabout too. And if you take a look, you can't actually make a right-hand turn. So the cops can't go there, and neither can trash vehicles. So simple fix here. Now you can go in. So I bet you that if we watch this for just a minute, that dead body will go away, the trash will be taken care of, and the police will come and arrest whoever's there being detained by one of the employees at the actual service station. I assume that's what's happening. I have no idea otherwise. Criminals just hanging out here because they can't leave. So, so this will resolve itself over time. There are some more things that are wrong with this area though. So we currently have a highway right here, and if we look at our speeds, that's 60 miles per hour. So you're in the roundabout at 25 miles per hour, and then you hop on here, 60, 65, 65, 25. That's speed differential is the absolute most dangerous thing that you can encounter on a roadway. So lowering it here would make sense. Truthfully, we'd probably want to start lowering the speeds sooner. So I would look at this and think, we got to get these speeds down much, much faster. So I might lower this down to 45. And then 55. And now it's kind of a more logical progression to this roundabout. So the speeds make a little more sense. And the thing about it is lower speeds have higher capacities. You can fit more vehicles on a road where people are going slower because they can be closer together. So it's good for that as well. So wins all around in my book. One of the issues with this junction though is that you're not really squaring up when you come in. So I am going to just modify this a bit. If I had node controller, I'd probably make this a more sweeping angle, because I think that would improve things for all of these junctions. But we don't have node controller. We don't have that luxury. So I'll just make sure that it's as square as it can be. So I think that's a good improvement for this area. And hopefully, I'm going to speed things up for a second. Oh, we just saw it. Cops taking care of business. There they are. And let's pause this. What does he have? He's going to another call. Okay. Well, he took care of the crime issue at the service station and restaurant. So, win in my book. That's a huge win. So, one of the other things I was thinking about is we have no transit service here, and I thought about placing a train station over here. Couple of issues with that. Clearly, we have train problems, so I think I don't want to exacerbate that at all. But I have a bigger issue, and that is the boundaries of this area. I've actually spilled over into Area 1, and this would be a significant issue for this factory. So the process of getting this business district into this community would require, there are two processes. One would be detachment from Area 1 and then attachment to Manitou Shores. And this city would have absolutely no reason to ever in a million years let this factory become a part of Manitou Shores. Think about this. They provided utility service at a significant expense coming from this area, most likely, meeting up with this factory, and they wouldn't want to lose the tax base, so they would never do it. But we're going to say that there was an agreement in place to have this detachment take place, and as a result, I'm just going to swallow this area up and make this city just a shade bigger, but we're not going to go beyond that, which is a real shame because I realized that there was another factory that I could build if I only had the space. So when I go and I take a look at the factories that we have this industrial steel plant that would be an excellent addition to the business park. It's huge, but it would definitely cross the boundaries of this area. So what I think we're going to do is add it over here near this rail connection. So we'll start out, I just want a kind of a guideline. Then I want to place this building. Ooh, that's a problem. So this junction isn't big enough. So I'm going to actually need to give this more space so I can connect up with that road. Because I want these to be sweeping angles. That will ensure that when we are actually working on this area, or when vehicles are navigating this area, it's we have as little congestion as possible. So we are going to level the pad around this. Again, with a factory this size, they would be more than happy to pay for a level pad because it would help them out so much. And once we get our road built, we will work on getting the grading done to make this a little bit less stark of a connection. And this could work out in our favor because reasonably, we're probably going to want some sort of warehouse in this for this facility, and this will give us an opportunity to do just that. So I'm going to turn off my road guidelines here. I'm going to I might go 2 over and then 2 up, just to make a nice connection over here. I'm going to go 4 again, 4. And then 4 again, and make that connection. And now we have a nice connection for this factory to operate in. Now this angle's challenging, and I'm immediately regretting it. So we're gonna work on fixing that. And that is significantly better. So we will live with that angle. So we need to get utilities over here. I'm wondering if I can just extend it to the front of the building and meet the needs of the facility. That does the trick. So this processes metals into steel products. So we need 2 warehouses minimum, and probably more if we want to be reasonable. So let's get those built as well. So I might just place these all along this road, which is probably a bad idea. And the reason why is this road is functioning as an arterial. This is a local road teeing into an arterial, and that's never a good idea, but we're going to do it and hope for the best. One of the things that we're going to do to make this a little better is we are going to add some turning lanes, and I think that's going to help things out. This kind of thing happens And cities end up in lots of trouble. So this is a unique factory product, so we will have unique factory products over here. I might actually do 3, we'll do 2. It'll be fine. So the better place for this would probably be over here off this local road. I know this, so I should do it. So I am so torn. You know what? No, I'm gonna leave it. No, I'm not gonna leave it. I can't leave it. I know who I am. That's not gonna work. And if I know it's not gonna work, I shouldn't leave it. So okay, so I've just I have anarchy on, so I figured I'd use that to my advantage. And the way that I'm using it to my advantage is I'm able to kind of just tweak this just a little bit to make this factory fit in a little bit better. And now we need to get water to these warehouses because, you know, restrooms. So makes sense to me. And we're going to want to loop this. And we have the water pipes under the roads where they belong. Perfect. So at this point, I want to do a little bit of grading, taper this edge, make it a little bit more rational. Okay, so there's a little bit of a kind of a jagged edge, but on the whole, not too bad. And I'm satisfied. I am not satisfied with this, however. There's this big bump here. This is another place where node controller can come in handy. Unfortunately, without it, we are going to have to do some other things. So I'm wondering if just rebuilding this... Oh, it's backwards too. Oh. I have a bunch that are backwards. Whoops. Does that fix it? Nope. Still pretty bad. So let's just rebuild this. I'm not going to leave that. I can't leave that. That's better. Okay, so this might increase the traffic in this area. In fact, I have a sneaking suspicion it will. So let's make sure that we have turning lanes. So we're going to use our asymmetrical roads. Leave a turning lane here to get onto the highway. Give people the opportunity to go straight. And then here we will have a 2-lane road. So that's a little easier here. And then we'll have again, we're going to have a turning lane here. I'm actually kind of regretting. I might just do asymmetrical here as well. Problem is, I don't love where this node is, so I'm going to move that back just a hair. Okay, so now we have a turning lane here, a through lane here. We probably should reverse this asymmetrical road. And the thought here being, oh, we can't. Let me add a node. And now I can reverse that asymmetrical road and get rid of that. Very good. Very, very, very good. I think it would also be very beneficial to have this road going to the cargo train terminal be a one-way road. We'll loop around, and that will, I think, serve the needs here a little bit better. One way that we could solidify that this is a collector would be to have, 2-lane roads going in either direction. But I don't want to force all the traffic to the cargo train terminal if it doesn't need to go there, so I'm not going to do that. So this should function pretty well now, I think. This, though, is not at all necessary. So I am going to add another node again, like I did before. And then we'll just make this a standard 2-lane road. Why don't we elevate this just so that we don't have this kind of weird bridge crossing in the middle situation going on. Much better. I think that this will continue to function correctly. It is a challenging situation, but it's certainly not insurmountable. Other thing we'll probably want to check out. Yeah, we need to make sure that people are proceeding through here unimpeded. Okay, so having a turning lane here also might help. So I'm going to add one more turning lane before I decide to go elsewhere. So we'll start that back there. Maybe, yeah, we'll just have the twiddle. So lots of planners and engineers don't love twiddles. They do serve a purpose, but they're called suicide lanes for a reason, and that's because you can run into someone head on. So the lucky thing here is the distance is far enough apart that it shouldn't be a problem. Using it here would be a problem, and vehicles could come head on. We clearly don't want that to happen, so we will avoid a twiddle in that location. All right, so I think we're doing all right. We've got our factory here. We've got our specialization set. They can take it right over here. And if someone decides to build a car factory or something, we'll be in a good spot to handle getting the steel products to the car factory. So we're in a good spot with a bunch of raw resources, except for, I guess, ore over here. One of the things I noticed is because I have this on fill, it's just full. So I think I might put it on balance and hope that fills these buildings up with resources. Let's see. Speed it up for a second and see if these get filled. So it looks like it did the trick, so working well. So the roundabout, there's still some backups in here. I want to take one more look. So yeah, we do have a yield there, so this is the one place where we don't. Yeah, it's set up appropriately. It's just kind of a challenging roundabout. But I think we're doing okay. This is manageable. I'm always okay with a little bit of red. I'm not okay with vehicles stopping and backing up and queuing into the oblivion. That's unacceptable, but this works. So I want to think about bus transit at this point. I would think that this area in general would have a great deal of demand. There's a lot of jobs here now, a ton of jobs. In fact, I kind of want to just take everything that's part of this community at this point and bring it right in. And I think we're going to swallow up this little lake too. We'll see if I have time to get to my plan for that lake. But suffice it to say, I do have an idea. I just don't know if we're going to have time to implement it. So Manitou Shores is now large. But a lot of this land, I would look at this like Jacksonville. Lots of land, lots of it isn't developed. So that's okay. Gives us room to expand, and a lot of cities will really be cognizant of that, because the last thing a city wants, a growing city anyway, is to be hemmed in by development on all sides, unable to grow, only able to infill. Because infill's great. I love infill. I think it's incredibly important, but sometimes you need a greenfield for certain types of users, like, for instance, an industrial steel plant. So it's good to have that. So let's get to transit, though, and I one of the things I was thinking about is we don't have a train connection. We could have a bus connection, but we are really reaching at this point. We'd be coming way over here, and where is that? Let's see where that terminal is. So we've got some routes right here. So I don't even know that we have a terminal just yet. I don't recall there being one. Oh, yeah, we have a terminal over here in Imperial Jedi's area 4. That's a long ways away. So I don't think we're going to do a terminal. Manitou Shores isn't large enough to justify that. In fact, let's look at the population. 645. Okay, definitely not large enough for that. But we are going to anticipate significant development, and that development is going to come not from people moving here from within the community, but from people from the outside coming in. So I think we're going to build, hold on one second. We are going to build one of these intercity bus stations. And the nice thing about this is because we have close access to the highway, we'll be able to get people from the outside coming here on the bus, and we can have some local routes starting from here as well. But to get there, we are going to need to build some support infrastructure. And I think we're going to want to go with biofuel buses, and we can put that right in this industrial park. That would seem to be a completely rational place for those buses to come from. The only thing I don't love about it is now they need to come over here to get to where they're going. But I'm not overly concerned. So what we're going to do is I think we're going to have a bus stop at the facility, and I want to run that up the main drag. And this is a local route, so we're going to have frequent stops getting people to where they need to go. So this should blanket this area with enough transit for its size to do okay. The only thing I'm noticing that we missed is a stop by the harbor, so I am going to add one more stop. Not a very long line, but it should be an efficient and productive line. The other thing we're going to want to do is make a connection up to this city over here to the train station. And I think that's going to be key for longer haul commutes. So hopefully this one will take place on the highway. And it'll be one simple stop. I do want to take a look at those line colors. Let's differentiate it. And that is not a differentiation, so we'll go with dark green. So at least now we have these couple of lines running. It'll get people over here if they wanted to make a significant trip across town. They have options. Is it the most efficient way of handling it? Probably not, but this is not a big community, and I don't think they'd be able to really afford much more than a simple bus terminal. And I would imagine that this is a private terminal funded by an entity like Greyhound that is leasing space to the local bus system to apparently queue and stack buses into one another. So, perfect. So now we've got that. We've got transit. We've got a rail connection by bus. We've got our cargo train terminal situation sorted by turning off despawning. What about bikes? So I want to make a regional bike connection, and I'm gonna leave this region, this part of the region, to make this connection. So what I'm thinking, I want to zoom way out. I want to give a not so subtle cue to everyone else that this shoreline will remain undeveloped. And the way that I'm going to do that is by running an off-street path along the side of this collector road that is connecting Manitou Shores to Area 1, and we're gonna make a key connection over here. So I'm gonna want to have a bike boulevard somewhere through this community. I'm thinking that this is probably the most logical connection. It's between the residential and what will be our downtown area. And then I want to bring it all the way over here. We might transition to on-street facilities here and then meet up. Is there a bike network over here? I don't believe that there is. So I'll just leave a connection so that if at some point it is implemented, there's at least the ability to make a connection. So let's do that now. So lots of issues with road guidelines, so I think we're going to turn those off as our guide and let these zoning squares be our guide. Now here I think I might deviate and go along the shore. Just because this is a utilitarian path doesn't mean that it needs to necessarily be a boring one. And we'll frame this in the respect the topography mindset, because there are some significant grades here. Although you're going to need big calves to navigate what I'm about to do. So we will fix that little bit of craziness there in just a moment. We are going to force this to the ground. Apparently it does not like my forcing. Okay, for some reason that didn't work, but we got it. We're good now. Okay, so here's where we're going to transition to an on-street facility, and I might actually do some of the forcing of this path going somewhere. So I'm noticing that we have not a tree-lined terrace, but just a standard, grassy terrace. We're going to replace that terrace with a bicycle connection and at least bring this in. Ooh, I see the mistake that I just made. Whoops. As I break everything in this area, I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? Clearly what I'm doing wrong is blocking off this river. Thankfully, there's another power connection, so I will connect this because I didn't put it there. But that was kind of a sticky situation there for a second. So what I think I'm going to do is just get this to the main terminal down here and at least have a connection to something. Now that will remove parking, but don't drive to this place anyway. Okay, so we're good now. People could bike if they wanted to all the way from my area into downtown. Perfect. Just what I was hoping for. So I do want to clean this up. There's a lot of janky stuff, so bear with me as I, again, play with this brush tool. Ooh. Actually, that's going to be brutal. Yeah, that's not going to be good at all. So let's not play with the brush tool. Let's do my other favorite sort of fix, which is we will activate the landscaping simulator and add landscaping. So I didn't have prop anarchy on. I didn't realize I had the option. That makes this all a ton easier. Okay, so now we've got to fix this area. So I said we were going to do something about it. It is going to be fun. So these are always tricky because these paths don't level the ground. You have to do the leveling for it. So let's level a bit here. Hope we don't flood things out. So that is by no means perfect, but it is significantly better, and you'd only fall off the cliff once. So I guess you got that going for you. And I think this is a lot better. Another way to fix it is probably to separate it from the road a little bit sooner. Yeah, that certainly improves things. Let's take this brush strength way down and smooth out this coast a little bit. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to mess up the trail, but I don't want it to look unnatural. Okay, so we've taken a bit more care, and now you can see that it's certainly a challenging stretch of path, to say the least, but it's not insurmountable. So let's finish out the landscaping simulator. Okay, so I'm well aware that the landscaping I placed is not equidistant in all locations, and that, you can still see some of the issues with the tearing. The way to completely fix that would probably be to move the path, and that's an approach. For me, I think that the trees, not only they look nice, but I think that they also serve a purpose. If someone were on this path and they needed to take a breather, they'd have a spot to sit underneath a tree and potentially get a reprieve from the hot sun. So I think that it serves a purpose, and I really appreciate how much use this trail is already getting. That is outstanding. So we need to do the work in this town to make this a viable path here as well. Before I forget, we're going to turn off Prop Anarchy, because I am notorious for leaving that on. Okay, so we've got that resolved, and I think that we're in a good spot. This area right here could probably use another roundabout. Truthfully, as I look at it, it's a problem. The other thing that we might want to do here would be to actually make this a 4-lane arterial, or collector, So I might just go ahead right off the bat and upgrade that and get rid of some of those trees that I just placed. All right, so that's going to help things out. It gives dedicated lanes for turning, and that's immensely beneficial, especially with all of these transit movements that we're seeing through here. So now the bikers can get off the trail, continue through the community, and that's going to be a huge benefit. The other thing I want to do, so we don't have a transit route going downtown. I do think that would be very helpful too. It's not entirely necessary, but I figure why not? We'll have some stops through this area, but ultimately we know the destination that we want to get to. That being the train station. So we've completed that line. It is very long. I am well aware of that. I think we were in a turn lane there, so we'll just back that up a little bit. And then let's change that color one more time. Alright, so this route will go downtown. It'll have a couple things that people could do, but this is a really well-connected area now. And lots of opportunities to go downtown and do some things. Wow! Sardis, good job. That is impressive. That pedestrian activity is out of this world. That is really mind-blowing. Okay, so back to town. I want to start thinking about some policies. That's something we didn't do either in this area. So encourage biking. That's a citywide policy, so I think we're good there. I want to think about policies that would be beneficial here. So I don't think we're ever going to have high-rises in this part of town. So I'm going to ban high-rises throughout all of Manitou Shores. At some point we'll have more industrial space, so I am going to have industrial space planning. Not really much of that right now. And I want to say schools out. So this is a blue-collar area, and I've mentioned that on multiple occasions, so let's solidify that by making sure that people choose work over going to school. So I think we're in a good spot now, and I'm happy with where we've ended up. So this is my 3rd episode in the series. I intended initially to make 3, but I'm going to release a 4th one because I didn't get to any of the stuff in the actual core of the community. And I want to flesh that out a little bit in the next episode and do a bit of detailing that I didn't get to. But at least we've resolved some of our transportation issues and provided options throughout this area. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please consider hitting the like button. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And if you want to be notified when I release new videos, hit the notification bell and you'll be notified as soon as I release new videos. I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Their names are listed here. And I'm going to give you a brief city tour right now.